And right now, of it all. This has been some high-level flag football action.
It's been unbelievable all weekend long. The athleticism that we are seeing on display, there's nothing like it that we've been able to witness in this college 7-a-side format. And very fitting that we're getting to the championship game with the highest scoring offense against the defense that allows the fewest scores when it comes to UCF.
Oh, no doubt. These two teams know each other well. They faced off many times over the years in various other tournaments and club national championships. Florida is a state where, quite frankly, flag football was institutionalized a long time ago. So in many ways, as you know well, it's not really a surprise that we have two teams from the Sunshine State playing for a championship here.
No, and two of the 8 teams from this tournament that really have the most amount of experience and just years and just ultimate elements of loving and living flag football.
No doubt about it. We have captains and officials meeting at midfield right now as action is just minutes away, and both of these teams coming off of really incredibly competitive semifinal games in various ways, of course. Florida Gators got here by way of a second-half comeback in which they scored 27 unanswered points in the second half to overtake their SEC rivals, the Georgia Bulldogs. And on the other side, the game that we had just a short while ago, the Central Florida Knights, Arizona State made them work for it for a while, but UCF, their supremacy really just, I think, grinded on the Sun Devils there in the second half. They end up winning the game 26-7 by a larger margin, of course. But again, both of these teams, after a long weekend, 5 games under their belts, no doubt some tired legs out there, and this is where champions are made.
Yeah, and this is where defense steps up big, right? We're talking about UCF and the defense that they have been able to display all weekend long, allowing a mere 14 points across those 5 games. And you're going against one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in Mika Rowe, quarterback of the Gators. You said it earlier, these two teams have so much familiarity. The Gators winning the past 4 championship matchups between them, but everything is on the line. We talked to both these coaches earlier. It's about the poise. It's about being ready for the moment.
Absolutely. Well, the Florida Gators will start with the football first here live from Arizona State Sun Devil Soccer Stadium. We've got a great crowd on hand here for the championship round. And Mika Rowe and the Gators, the #1 offense here in the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic, will start with the football first from the 14-yard line. As is customary in Division I collegiate women's flag football, they'll have to get to the 20-yard line for a first down, and then the various 20-yard zones thereafter. Is on first down, Mika Rowe scrambling around the right side, picks up a few, but stops short of the 20-yard line.
And if you're new to this sport, what just happened there? Mika Rowe, you saw her kind of give herself up. That is what we call short lining, where you stop short of the first down marker. And that is because ultimately you now have 3 more attempts, you're on second down, to try and gain that first yard. So it allows for ultimately a shot downfield.
There's a throwback as Monesi Vijayaraghavan with her first catch of the afternoon, number 5 for the Gators. You will hear her name a lot throughout the afternoon as she is the Gators' leading receiver and their most trusted target. Although she did not lead the Gators in the semifinal game in receptions, that went to Kate Keith out of the center position.
And that's what's great. These teams are able to adjust. We've got 2 absolute incredible programs in front of us who have game experience, and that's what's going to stand up most on this big field.
Abby Elwell, the blocker in the back of number 3, Ava Godfrey.
Yeah, Ava Godfrey, just a freshman here at Florida. And you're going to see a lot of back and forth. With these 2 teams, they have multiple quarterbacks that they play with. Now, the quarterback can also run, as we saw earlier on, Mika Rowe doing that. But it makes it so dangerous when you have dual threats back there.
Here's Rowe, finds Vijayaraghavan, who tries to pitch it back, and it's picked off by Lindsey Ward. And Ward loses control of it, but it hits the turf incomplete. And we are off to the races here in Tempe. My goodness, what a sequence.
Lindsey Ward, take a bow. That is one one of the intercepted successful laterals we've seen so far this tournament. In 7-a-side, you're able to lateral it, but you look at the awareness. It's about the lane discipline of Lindsay Ward in that situation. I don't think the Gators can believe that just happened. An early momentum switch here in Tempe, Arizona.
Unbelievable. I haven't seen that yet this weekend. You don't often see that. I mean, it does happen, but wow, what a start to the championship bout. And for the first time today, Riley McDade and the Knights offense takes the field near the 40-yard line. And on first down, she swings it out to the flats to Julie Sanchez, complete for a UCF first down.
And we saw Sanchez in the semifinals game really coming up big, especially in the second half. It's so unique. When you're a center, sometimes you get left behind a little bit because the defense is respecting the deep route. So you become that friendly body to the quarterbacks.
Julie Sanchez, number 20 out there, the sophomore center from Tampa, Florida, majoring in kinesiology with the first catch of the day. Now here's McDade. Spins one up the middle, and it's caught by number 7, Layla Cornett, the sophomore from Fort Pierce, Florida.
This Gators defense are giving a lot of respect right now to UCF. You see that they're backed off a little bit. They don't want anything to go deep. What it's allowing is for this UCF offense to take what the defense is giving, some nice chunks. And now you're second and favorable to the next 20-yard line.
And there you see McDade and Ludwig communicating in the backfield. They're on the field together 99% of the time as Richards goes in motion across the formation. McDade ranging right, flips it to Sanchez again across the 20 for another Knights first down. And Julie Sanchez getting involved early here in this title game.
Yeah, we were speaking with Coach Brandon Barodi earlier, and he's talking about with the familiarity, you're going to have to add in some little wrinkles. So you bring someone in motion, you bring in Amber Richards, who's been huge for them offensively, and you put her into the blocking position. You release the center. It's all that kind of eye candy and mystique that makes this so much fun to watch. Brandon
Barodi's Knights offense marched down the field on their opening possession against Arizona State in the semifinals, and well on their way here in the opening possession of the championship game. There's Sanchez, a direct snap back to Kayla Ludwig. Ludwig laterals back to McDade, secures it, surveys, going up top, perfect spiral into double coverage, but knocked away, incomplete, intended for Richards.
I mean, great defensive play there. And this is what happens, right? When you feel like you've got the opportunity to take a shot, you feel good about where you are. There was a check down available to Julia Sanchez. However, you're thinking, let's show these Gators that we are willing to take those shots downfield.
That'll bring up second down for the Knights. Again, live from Arizona State Soccer.
And the defense has to be careful there. Yeah, they have equal rights to the ball, but they got to get to the ball.
That's what I thought.
Settles with her arms behind to block. McDade rolling right. Finds number 7, Layla Cornett, who nearly loses it but regains possession, and a modest pickup on second down.
And a nice flagpole there from Matt Culver, who is really, as Coach Kylie was telling us, she's the quarterback of the defense, directing traffic all the time.
That'll bring up third down. The mute switch. Riley McDade with Vijay Aranavan in her face. Whips it out to the far sideline, but not enough on it. Hits the turf, incomplete, looking for Richards.
Fourth down, and so this is going to be a nice opportunity here to trial some different things. You've got 4th and long. Now, the Gators would pick up, should this not be converted, where the ball is spotted. The thing is, you have to think about the width of this field, 40 yards wide. You've got to be able to make a 20-yard throw on the money, timing as well. There's a lot of strength in these quarterbacks' arms.
Big fourth down coming for the Knights. Let's see what Barudi draws up. McDade moves left, spins back to the right, lofts it to the back of the end zone, but nobody home, incomplete, and a turnover on downs for UCF on their opening possession. We are scoreless here at Arizona State in the title game, and the Gators will get the ball back for the second time when we return. It's the Fiesta Bowl Football Classic, Flag Football Classic, presented by Oakley here on ESPNU.
You are so...
Have you ever wondered if there was a place where access to excellence isn't guarded by ivy, but open to all who strive for greatness. Where education leads to more than a degree, it opens the door to a career and a better life. Where imagination ignites invention and innovation, and the boundaries between science and creativity converge. That place is here, the University of Central Florida, a place for those who dare to invent the future.
Greatness lives in these halls.
Dedication to academic excellence.
In the midst of palm and pine. Here, proud Gators laid the foundation. They set the bar we now raise. At the University of Florida, legacy isn't just something we honor. It's something we build on.
Number 1 versus number 2 here in the title game of the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic, the inaugural 7-on-7 Division I Collegiate Women's Championship here in Tempe, Arizona. The Valley of the Sun, Kyle Bailey, Phoebe Schechter bringing you all the action here on ESPNU and streaming live on the ESPN app as there's a first down completion for Mika Rowe to begin Florida's second drive of the day.
Yeah, I got to say there was a little bit of a missed opportunity there from UCF coming off the back of such an incredible interception off a lateral by Lindsey Ward to not be able to punch in some points early on against a Gators team who I think were put on their heels a little bit there.
Kate Keith with the reception that time. Kate led all receivers in the semifinal game against Florida, or Georgia rather. 11 catches, 63 yards, and look at that. A little give and go as Mika Rowe is sprinting to the far sideline. She found number 16, Abby Elwell, who promptly turned and hit her with a shovel pass right back. And Mika Rowe with a Gators first down.
Mika Rowe is just a phenomenal athlete. I mean, she has such awareness of the game and where the ball is all the time. A lot of times just calling plays from the huddle herself. And then you see her athleticism in action. I would say from the defense, this is a favorable position to make them march a whole 20 yards essentially.
So first down, the ball spotted right on the 20-yard line. Direct snap to Rowe. Rowe back to Elwell. Elwell thought about throwing, instead cuts it back, and she's slicing through defenders and finally has her flag pulled after a gain of about 10 yards.
Really nice job of just finding the space in the defense, forcing them to cut it back. A lot of times what comes down to is all about the fundamentals. Both coaches have talked about this, right? Flag pulling is crucial. And when you have the best athletes in this game going at it, you can't let those yards after catch happen.
The Gators on their second drive looking to lift the lid as we are scoreless here at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium. Mika Rowe, pressure in her face, and it's batted down. Number 3, Aislinn Parrott. They call her Ace. She showed up right on time, knocks it to the turf, incomplete, and that'll bring up a big third down for the Gators.
As you're watching the Gators, they're really doing a good job of trying to identify, okay, hey, last second, let's move up. And then you've got the familiarity of this team, right? They understand if I'm the rusher, my responsibility is just get big, get in the way, and make sure that the quarterback doesn't run around. And then you've got the coverage behind to build that trust.
Third down, about 11 yards to go to the 40-yard line. The line to gain. There's a throw back to Elwell. Elwell, a wide open Vijay Aragavan. She makes the catch but can't keep her feet. And she's down on contact. So a short gain brings up fourth down. Now, is this a no-brainer if you're Florida to take a crack at it, or do you punt the football?
I think they have a lot of confidence in themselves, and we've seen them throughout this tournament, again, almost treating this like the red zone, right? How do you get those 4 yards ultimately? And a lot of times it ends up being in the hands of the quarterback, who's able to then run and achieve that first down.
Let's see what Kylie Gorn-Prodham has in her bag right here. Mika Rowe scrambling, buying time, and batted away. Number 2, Eliana Higbee-Long in coverage, gets the handout and a big stop on fourth down.
A huge stop. And we were, again, talking with Coach Brandon Baruti, and he was saying, we've built this defense now where they have their own positions. We're not moving them around. You get one hand in there, pass breakup. Okay, you've stopped the quarterback. You know that she's rolling. Well, the routes have to marry to where the quarterback is rolling. So they have a really nice feel defensively of what this Gators team wants to achieve.
First 2 drives come up empty for Florida, and the Knights will embark on their second possession, starting in plus territory. McDade whips it out far sideline to Lindsey Ward, and Ward evades one defender. Can't get away from the second. That's number 12, Maddie Culver, making the stop. Culver leads this Gators team in flag pulls both in the tournament and in the win over Georgia in the semifinal.
Yeah, Culver has just been so much fun to watch throughout this entire tournament. And again, directing traffic, but then her accuracy with those flag pulls, aiming for the top of the flag is the crucial part of that.
Inside of 40 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. Here's McDade, drops it off to Ludwig. Ludwig racing up the seam, gets out near the 20-yard line, but stopped short, and that'll bring up 3rd down. And we'll see if the Knights elect to get one more playoff with 18 seconds left on the clock.
Ludwig does a really nice job of just identifying the angle of the rusher, and just that one little move gives her the better leverage matchup, especially against Naya Rampat in that last play. I mean, she is so evasive.
And that'll do it for the first quarter of play. We're scoreless at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium in all Florida battle for the championship at the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley here on ESPNU. Stick around.
Now testing Oakley Hypergrip technology. Fit system initializing. Launch gravity study. Fit system ready. Rotation scenario. Oakley Hypergrip technology. Next level unleashed.
Beyond game day, you'll find the Fiesta Sports Foundation working year-round to improve Arizona communities in education, in youth programs, in sports. With more than 1 million Arizonans supported in 2024 and over 32 million in charitable donations since 2011. With your help, we'll go above and beyond in everything we do. Fiesta Sports Foundation, our season never ends.
Third down coming up here to start the second quarter for the UCF Knights. We are scoreless as the UCF offense is on the field, but defensively, they're allowing just 3 yards per play. Offensively, a big opportunity and a big catch as number 7, Layla Cornett, climbs the ladder on a high throw from Riley McDade. It's a big play and a first down for UCF.
Play. I mean, what a great job. Nobody even knew. It looked like Emma Clark thought it might have been going to her, but that high point and putting you in great field position.
So here we go, first down and goal for the Knights. And there's that wishbone-like quarterback system. Now Ludwig exiting the backfield in motion to the near side. McDade, pressure in her face. Vijay Raghavan is there, and well, McDade has to spike it. Now a penalty flag comes in.
We've got a roughing the passer call, and it was interesting because Emma Clark was in the back of the end zone and tripped over her defender, which is where I think McDade was looking to try and get the ball, right? Front of the end zone, you're trying to get it low to the body. Back of the end zone, you're looking to put it high.
Intentional grounding
Emma
on the
Clark.
offense. It's a spot foul and a loss of down. Be second down. 5 yards.
Well, you heard it right there, intentional grounding. Loss of down, and we'll go to second down. And I want to give due credit to Nia Rampat, the senior rusher from Davie, Florida, who was applying the pressure that time to force the intentional grounding. As here's second down, McDade, nifty pitch back to Sanchez, and Sanchez picks up a few before Maddie Culver comes in to snatch her flag.
That's a great understanding of the down and distance ultimately, because you were second down. All you need to do is regain a few yards. You still have 2 downs to get into the end zone, and you live to play another down.
So 10.5 to play here in the second quarter, 12-minute quarters in this Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic. And there's a direct snap to Lindsey Ward, racing to the far pylon. She's in, touchdown. How about the speed of Lindsey Ward? Great play designed by Brandon Berruti as well.
She is such a fun player to watch offensively and defensively. But you watch her coming across, her awareness, she can outrun any defender. And when you give her that leverage advantage, you see her reaching the ball out because it's about where the ball placement is when the flag is pulled. Watch her in motion, that direct snap. It's beautiful. And actually the defenders run into each other, taking each other away from being able to make a play.
Here's the conversion attempt. Dual quarterbacks. Snap to McDade. McDade targeting Ward, but off target, and Ward hadn't turned her head either. Ball's knocked away, incomplete, and the score remains 6-0 UCF.
We've seen extra points making crucial, just big impacts in these games. Previous game when Georgia was playing Florida, they ended up going for 2, which is actually the first time that we had seen that so far this tournament. It could come down to a situation like this.
So the Knights lift the lid with the first touchdown of the game. That is their 21st offensive touchdown of this tournament. And they lead the field in that category. Entered this game number 2 in points scored, only behind the Florida Gators. Both of these teams prolific offensively, and we'll see if the Gators can answer. A couple of pump fakes from Mika Rowe. She shifts the hips and slices through a pair of defenders as the ball comes out and hits the turf just shy of the 20-yard line, which, as you've discussed plenty of times in the past, is not the worst thing.
But it's about her awareness. I can't even explain to be running like this, right? You're looking, you've got matching routes on the outside. You've got outs with goes. And you see she throws the ball back as she's falling across the line of scrimmage. She's making it look easy, but the way that her brain is processing is elite level.
Got a chance to see Mika for the first time a couple of summers ago. She and I were discussing that Friday during media day, and she kind of winced when I told her the first time I saw her quarterback, but the point was how far she's come as a player since then. As there's a throwback to Elwell, who zips it up the middle to Kate Keith, and Keith catches and runs for about 11 yards and a Gators first down.
It's so fun watching the Gators when they're in their quarterback setups, right? They're double quarterback. It's almost like a seesaw. Hey, you go down, you block. And then last second, we might rotate, and I'll go back to quarterback, and you go down, and I'll block. And you just don't know which one is going to add that level of danger, and you don't know who the quarterback's going to snap it to.
First down here for the Gators. Rowe pump fakes, flips it to Elwell. And Elwell picks up just a couple before the Knights defense converges. Number 0, Emma Dolan there to pull the flag.
You've got to give credit to the University of Central Florida, though, because they've only been allowing an average of 2 yards per play defensively. I mean, that is so impressive against one of the highest scoring offenses in this tournament so far.
Both teams came in 5-0 today. The Knights have pitched shutouts in 3 of those 5 games and have only allowed 14 points in the entire tournament. As right there on second down, another throwback, and Elwell targeting Vijay Raghavan, but the throw was low and off the mark, skips off the turf out of bounds and brings up third down.
Yeah, Emma Clark just on top of that as well. The way that this team is operating together defensively, you know, this no easy feat what they're doing out there. And Mika Rowe, knowing what we know of her from this past weekend, you know that she's feeling like she wants to make a play. She's got to make a play. And we're just waiting for that one moment. Her patience is impeccable.
Third down and about 8 yards shy of midfield. 2 opportunities to cross the zone. Here's Mika Rowe running, leaping out of bounds after a gain of about 5 yards. Will set them up nicely for 4th down and short.
And in this format of the game, you are allowed to jump as long as you are not jumping into somebody. You're jumping away from contact. You're still being safe within those manners of the game.
Mika Rowe is one of the most prolific rushing quarterbacks in this field. Leads all quarterbacks in rushing yards. Has used her feet effectively this weekend, and there she is dancing, evading pressure, and the ball comes out. As Elwell makes the catch, she's short of the line to gain, and the near side judge throws a penalty flag there at the end of that play. As the collision occurred, we'll see who the penalty's on. We've got an all-female officiating crew here this afternoon, which of course is incredibly appropriate given the festivities. Head referee Camille Nichols, line judge Jennifer Reel, side judge Christy Wilson, back judge Emily Howard.
Legal contact on the offense. That penalty be declined. Result of the play is a turnover on downs. 1st down.
So essentially, you want to think about this like charging, right? As you saw, the defender's feet were planted. Watch right here. So Mika throws the ball to the receiver. The defender's feet were planted. The receiver has got to be aware and cannot run through or charge essentially through the defender. But this is a huge play because now look at the field position we have.
So with 6:58 left to play and a 6-0 lead, Riley McDade and the Knights get the football back. Sanchez, direct snap back to McDade, flips to Ludwig. Ludwig has a 1st down, but can't get away from Maddie Culver there at the end.
The ease in which she leaves her feet and dives. We're talking about a flag which is maybe 2.5 inches wide, and she has the accuracy. I've always been taught, be a surgeon, not a butcher, when it comes to attacking that and the flag pulling. And she is absolutely a defensive surgeon out there.
And she's the quarterback of the defense. Kylie Gorn-Prodham trusts her to call the defense. Maddie Culver's a former high school quarterback turned defender. And those instincts show out there on the defensive side. Here's McDade, ranging to her right, throws back across her body, complete to Richards, and there's Culver again with another flag pull.
We saw in the semifinal game what a crucial element Amber Richards adds to this team as someone who's just sturdy, solid hands, always there, friendly to the quarterback. Not always going to be that flashy player that gets you the yards after catch, but she's going to guarantee you a catch.
5:47 and rolling here in the 2nd quarter. Live from Sun Devil Soccer Stadium, the campus of Arizona State University in Tempe. As McDade on 3rd down, laterals back to Emma Clark. Clark thinks about throwing, opts otherwise. She's running, she's scooting, she's evading, she's pitching it back to Ludwig. Ludwig has a 1st down. And once again, we see the creativity on this Knights offense extend to play and set them up 1st down and goal.
When you have this many playmakers on one side of the ball, it's just terrific. And Emma Clark, she comes from the Texas Fury family in terms of the team she's played for years, 5-a-side. She's been part of these national champions for so long, and she adds so much value out here. And just they have such a great awareness. We talk about it's like that basketball weave drill.
Huge play and a fresh set of downs for the Knights. Here's Ludwig rolling right. Lofts it to the near pylon, but out of bounds, intended for Layla Cornett. And Ludwig that time just off the mark. But 2nd down coming up. Ludwig is a two-way star in every sense of the word. Riley McDade is the primary quarterback in this offense, if you want to call it that, but they trust Ludwig to make those throws.
They do, and because she has the threat of using her legs as well, her athleticism, we've seen her as a receiver. I mean, she could literally be that all-around athlete. You have to respect it so much.
So here we go on 2nd down. Ward motions back to the backfield to become a 2nd blocker for McDade. McDade fires. Sanchez goes down and makes a low, impressive catch. And the flag pulled immediately by number 18, Taylor Brockman.
This team is doing a really good job as well of eating up the clock. You think of what the time of possession is between UCF and the Gators right now, and they are dominating that, and they're taking their time. They feel and look like they are controlled and marching the ball down the field.
Well, the Gators overcame a double-digit deficit to win in the semifinal round against Georgia. And right now in danger of falling behind by 2 scores yet again is Sanchez, sure-handed, running to the far sideline and turns, makes the catch, stops her momentum. Great athletic play by Julie Sanchez to set up the Knights 4th down at about the 3-yard line.
And I'm glad that you kind of brought that up, because also with talking with this coaching staff and of course the familiarity on both sides of things, UCF know what the Gators can do. They know. We talked to Coach Brandon. He said, I'm not even going to let the girls know that they've come back from double losses in the first half, essentially, or ties, because I don't want them to even think that that's an opportunity for them to be confident.
Here's Ludwig. Ludwig looking for Emma Clark in the front corner of the end zone, but got that ball out a little bit late as Emma Clark ran a sharp route and created separation on the defender, but Ludwig waiting just a tick too long to throw the football, and it cost her.
Yeah, Kate Keith doing a really nice job, kind of that lockdown corner. You're going to watch here. You've got a little bit of a whip or pivot route on the front pylon. When you're in flag football, a lot of times what you're aiming for are the front pylons, the back pylons, or you're looking to settle in the middle in space. This is the awareness of this Gators team.
So the Gators get it back. They avoid falling behind 2 scores. But they've got the length of the field to go, but Mika Rowe facing pressure immediately on 1st down. Standing in the shadow of her own end zone, has to get rid of it quickly, falls incomplete. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning here at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. The UCF Knights hold a 6-0 lead over the Florida Gators. More action to come momentarily. Keep it right here. The Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley.
Have you ever wondered if there was a place where access to excellence isn't guarded by ivy, but open to all who strive for greatness? Where education leads to more than a degree, it opens a door to a career and a better life. Where imagination ignites invention and innovation, and the boundaries between science and creativity converge. That place is here, the University of Central Florida, a place for those who dare to invent the future.
Greatness lives in these halls,
Dedication to academic excellence.
in the midst of palm and pine. Here, proud Gators laid the foundation. They set the bar we now raise. At the University of Florida, legacy isn't just something we honor. It's something we build on.
A great crowd on hand here at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium at Arizona State University for the title bout between a couple of Florida squads, the Gators and the Knights. Florida and the University of Central Florida battling for Fiesta Bowl flag football supremacy here in the Valley of the Sun. Kyle Bailey alongside Phoebe Schechter with 2 minutes left to go here in the first half. The Gators have it 2nd down. Mika Rowe takes the snap on the run, moving near side rapidly toward the sideline, and picks up a handful of yards, but swarmed immediately by Knights defenders.
Yeah, and I always love to take that kind of snapshot at the end of a run. How many defenders do you have around the ball carrier? And there were 4 Knights defenders just all around her in that picture. They're swarming. We talked about them in our semifinal game. The way this defense plays, they're like a cobra out there, just kind of constricting everything and making Mika very uncomfortable.
They really are impressive. There's not many places to go with the football against this Knights defense, and Mika Rowe's going to try to continue figuring that out. Playing the chess game against the Knights. She drops it off to number 16, Abby Elwell, the sophomore from Apollo Beach, Florida, who picks up a couple. But now we've got a timeout taken on the field by the Knights. With a big 4th down coming up here, you'd have to imagine the Gators are about to punt the football back to Central Florida, and well, Brandon Berruti would like as much time as possible for one more crack at the end zone.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you're seeing the Gators are kind of digging into their bag a little bit in terms of creativity, starting to snap the ball to Mika Rowe on the run, starting to create some different movement back there. But if you're watching, I mean, this UCF team are just kind of rocking and rolling, working as cogs in a machine, their communication being one of the biggest strengths of their team.
Florida passing so far today, they're 8 of 14. For 42 yards. Completion percentage is solid, but they've not been able to really find much in the way of chunk plays. By the way, our stats today brought to you by Breakaway Data. For all the real-time stats, Breakaway is the home for your athlete's flag profile with stats just like you see today here on the broadcast.
I think it's a smart idea here. Bring out the punt, go into half feeling good about it.
There's the kick. I thought for a second that one might get blocked. Caught in the wind and takes a big Knights bounce there at the end. And Florida hoping to flip the field there. Didn't quite get the job done as Taylor Brockman, again, charging in to kick the ball. I thought for a moment that she might get it blocked or even kick it into the back of her own blockers, but then the wind caught it, and on top of that, it took a Knights hop at the end.
Yeah, you can see the wind there and those flags. I mean, it was a gust that's kind of come through. It's really started in the past 2 hours, but it's not necessarily consistent the whole time because it comes with these kind of bigger gusts and it just gets underneath the kick like that. An unfortunate situation for the Gators. But they're a team that are full of leaders. They've been on this big stage so many times. They're not afraid of that, right? We've seen it before. We've seen the leaders stepping up, having those conversations. And you've got to think, hey, we've been here before. We've done this. We've actually had 2 games today where we have been down. Don't drop your heads.
Well, and by the way, timeout Florida Gators as they wanted, I believe, to take a look at the Knights offensive formation there after the punt. 58 seconds left to go. Now, this is a bit of the, let's call it the danger zone for the Florida Gators because you're trailing 6-0 already. You've struggled offensively. You've yet to score. Now, yes, you overcame a 2-touchdown deficit in the semifinal game, but all due respect to the Dogs, UCF's on a bit of a different level, especially defensively. So if you're Florida, you really need to find a way to get a stop right here.
No, you're spot on there, and I'm fascinated to see how UCF used the rest of the time.
58 seconds to go. Snap back to McDade. Dual blockers giving her time, and a deep ball down the near sideline. Sails out of bounds, intended for number 8, Amber Richards, who had a step on the defender, but that throw got away from McDade, incomplete.
Yeah, we see the wind affecting that a little bit. You see it's supposed to be a layered throw over the top of the corner, underneath the safety there. And just at the end, it goes right outside, right out of bounds. I mean, this is what's going to be so unique, right? You've got to get that to the 20-yard now.
Now a direct snap to Ludwig. Ludwig flips it out to Emma Clark. Clark trying to get away from Kate Keith, but her flag was pulled after a gain of about 6 yards. And another timeout called by UCF head coach Brandon Berruti.
Yeah, and you can't carry your timeouts into the next half. So you're better off just utilizing them now. Get the play calls that you want to see offensively. Get the right looks. Be able to make those adjustments. Speaking to him previously, we were talking about these 2 quarterbacks. They have total autonomy to make a change, to make an adjustment, to audible at the line of scrimmage. And because the 2 quarterbacks have such a great communication, understanding of each other, he feels so comfortable.
No, 2, 3, 4.
There's the Arizona State Sun Devil mascot taking it all in. Unfortunately for him, the Sun Devils not participants in the title game, though they did battle valiantly this weekend. And just simply, what a weekend for this sport, Phoebe. I mean, the way it's growing across the country, the Olympics on the horizon in the summer of 2028, all the events that you and I do throughout the year that showcase this sport. It's just a special time to be a part of flag football.
It is. We keep saying it. This is a movement. It's not a moment. Women's flag football is on the rise. And as Coach Papp of the Arizona Sun Devil says, it is unstoppable.
Here's McDade on 3rd down. A wide open Richards makes the grab and scampers inside the 20 for a Knights first down. The clock stops at 38.7 seconds.
I love to see Maddie Culver backing up her teammate saying, hey, the flag was pulled here, but Maddie knows it's about the placement of the ball where the flag is pulled.
Clock resumes, now with 30 seconds to play. Here's McDade to Ward. Ward turns and is met by a couple of Gator defenders. And once again, Maddie Culver pulls the flag, but number 3, Ava Godfrey, also there to help aid in the stop. And another timeout taken by UCF. You can't take them with you. Teams get 3 timeouts per half, 6 total. But again, they do not roll over from the first half to the second. And of course, Brandon Berruti and company need those timeouts right now to ensure they have the best shot at the end zone. You're watching the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley. And as you and I were talking about the growth of the sport, and you know, it's a movement, not a moment. How about the role that Oakley has to play in all of that? You are an Oakley athlete yourself, but you know, I've been able to get to know these guys, Dylan Bohannon and company, over the last couple of years. They are truly devoted to the growth of this game.
They are, and they believe in this, and they're just such a fun organization to be associated with. I mean, not only do they stand for elite and performance, but it's all the research and development that they put behind it to allow these athletes and athletes around the globe to be able to put their best foot forward when they hit the field. And they've believed in women and girls flag football from day one.
Oakley is to flag football what Nike is to basketball, what Adidas is to soccer. Tip of the cap to Oakley for their support of this game. As here's McDade dancing back of the end zone. Emma Clark climbing the ladder. Touchdown Knights late here in the first half.
Emma Clark. They tried to get her earlier. She's running through the back of the end zone, a deep over essentially, and the ball is placed where only she can get it, using that beautiful height that she has. But remember, they only sent 1 rusher. Watch her jump and get that ball. I mean, she is such a fun athlete, but when you only send 1 rusher, you've got 2 blockers. This quarterback has all the time in the world. There is no quarterback clock.
It was her 5th touchdown reception of the weekend, and there she is in the back of the end zone, calling for it, makes the grab, keeps her feet in bounds. Back-to-back scoring catches for Emma Clark to make the score 13-0 with 14.8 seconds left to go. The product of the Texas Fury, the former member of the 15U and 17U junior national team for USA football, one of the brightest stars in this sport, and she shows up when the lights are the brightest.
She absolutely does, and even when she's covered, she's not covered. And we saw that ability of her calling early, her recognition that she was open, and you've got that relationship with your quarterback. This is a huge drive, 14 seconds on the clock.
And Mika Rowe and the Gators will take a knee to end the first half, and it's familiar territory for them, unfortunately, as they will go to the half down by double digits. They trailed Georgia 14-0 in the semifinal and then scored 27 unanswered in the second half to come back and get the win. Will they be able to pull off a similar feat against the best defense in this tournament, the UCF Knights, who lead it 13-0 here at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona? Halftime, the second half, just around the bend. It's the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley.
Now testing Oakley Hypergrip technology. Fit system initializing. Launch gravity study. Fit system ready. Rotation scenario. Oakley Hypergrip technology. Next level unleashed.
Beyond game day, you'll find the Fiesta Sports Foundation working year-round to improve Arizona communities in education, in youth programs, in sports. With more than 1 million Arizonans supported in 2024 and over 32 million in charitable donations since 2011. With your help, we'll go above and beyond in everything we do. Fiesta Sports Foundation, our season never ends.
launch gravity study. Fin system ready. Rotation scenario. Oakley hypergrip technology. Next level unleashed.
Thirteen to nothing. The Central Florida Knights lead the Florida Gators here in the title game of the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley. We're at halftime, and a lot to say about the second half. We'll do that shortly, but just a little while ago, our very own Phoebe Schechter had a chance to, well, have an interesting conversation. There are many luminaries and leaders in the sport that are in attendance this weekend, and Phoebe got to catch up with five-time national champion head coach at Ottawa and soon-to-be head coach at Nebraska, Liz Sowers.
Thanks, Kyle. Look, I was so excited because not only are you have so many titles, but we played against each other for a few years, tackle and flag. It's so great to see you out here in Arizona. How do you feel?
I feel extremely hot. It is really hot out here, but I love this. Is just everything that I could dreamed up for flag football. So it's been so incredible. I mean, the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic, the first of its nature. I mean, what do you think this means for women's flag football? I mean, you have one of the most well-known brands, Fiesta Bowl, and it is putting this on a national stage. I think it legitimizes the sport, and it puts them on a stage that they deserve to be on for a while now.
And I love that you brought that up because you are somebody who, whether you want to admit it or not, have been such a trailblazer in this world for so long, not only as a player, but as a coach and five-time national champion with Ottawa University. Talk to us a little bit about what that's meant. I mean, you established that program and to get it to where it is.
It's been a whirlwind, I think, the last 5.5 years. And trailblazer, I don't know if I necessarily consider myself like trailblazer. The players, however, that had invested their money, their time in this sport, those are the trailblazers. And you know, I couldn't do it without Ottawa, who believed in something before it was anything back in 2020.
Yeah, and NAI were really kind of leading the way a lot when it came to offering scholarships. You yourself had brought in players from around the globe. Talk to me a little bit about what that's like to have this. You have a very international league.
Yes, I think that, you know, come LA 2028, I want to be able to look over and say, oh, there's Clara from Canada, or Tatiana from Panama, or Olga from Spain, or Alyssa from USA, you know, be able to kind of bring that back to where it started. Those trailblazers that are then taking it to the Olympic Club.
I mean, and now obviously with LA 2028, only a couple years away, what do you think this means for women's sport?
Division I alone on the surface level is everything. These are stages and educational scholarship dollars that these players have deserved for a long time. And in women's sports, if there's not a degree paid for, I think that there's a lot more hesitancy to jump into it. And so Division I alone allows these athletes to play in the Division I level, train every day, and prepare for the Olympics in 2028.
You figure all weekend watching these Division I club teams, what are some of the things you kind of picked out from watching these athletes competing?
These club teams are elite, and I think it proves that the passion, the skill, everything is there. These organizations are run by these players that love the game, just like my NAIA players, you know, have the past 5 years. And I think it shows that that level of interest is there, and the institution is just a little late in following, but they will.
They will, and it would be hard to ignore the fact you have become and will be later this summer the head coach of the University of Nebraska. Alongside your twin sister will be the assistant to the head coach. Congratulations, the first Power 4 to really bring it on. Tell me about this opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. University of Nebraska is that leader in sports, and they changed the landscape just like strength and conditioning, and they're doing the same with the flag football, and we're going to set the bar.
Well, you continue to set the bar everywhere that you go. So let's go continue and watch you ladies set the bar.
Well, Gustavo the Gator, can he wake up Florida in the second half? They trail 13-0 here in Tempe. The good news is Florida's got 24 minutes left on the clock. The bad news is UCF gets the football first. We'll find out next. It's the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley on ESPNU.
Beyond game day, you'll find the Fiesta Sports Foundation working year-round to improve Arizona communities in education, in youth programs, in sports. With more than 1 million Arizonans supported in 2024 and over 32 million in charitable donations since 2011. With your help, we'll go above and beyond in everything we do. Fiesta Sports Foundation, our season never ends.
Now testing Oakley Hypergrip technology. Fit system initializing. Launch gravity study. Fit system ready. Rotation scenario. Oakley Hypergrip technology. Next level unleashed.
Beyond game day, you'll find the Fiesta Sports Foundation working year-round to improve Arizona communities in education, in youth programs, in sports. With more than 1 million Arizonans supported in 2024 and over 32 million in charitable donations since 2011. With your help, we'll go above and beyond in everything we do. Fiesta Sports Foundation, our season never ends.
The Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley here on the campus of Arizona State. One half in the books. The UCF Knights lead the Florida Gators 13-0 with 24 minutes of action left to go in the second half. Kyle Bailey, Phoebe Schechter bringing you the action here from Sun Devil Soccer Stadium on the campus of Arizona State. A beautiful scenic locale. Deal spot as the Fiesta Bowl and the Fiesta Sports Foundation have put together truly a one of a kind event that has made this such a special weekend for all the young ladies involved.
It has. From the moment that they arrived here in Arizona, they were greeted at the airport by the Yellow Jackets. And when they got to the hotel, a huge parade essentially with the cheerleaders, the mascot, a rapper who was making up songs for them, and then the kind of media frenzy, the player lounge, the gifting room. These athletes have been treated just the same as when the tackle players are in town, and that was the ultimate goal of Fiesta Bowl Foundation. It's been phenomenal from start to finish, and I have to say the community, the sisterhood, that's one of my favorite parts about this, is how these athletes from the different teams across the U.S. are just coming together and supporting one another.
Yeah, and two powerhouse teams meeting here in the championship game in Tempe. The first half was owned by UCF. They lead it 13-0. They'll get the football back here to start the second half. To you, though, what was the most important stat from the first half that got us to where we are right now?
I mean, you've got to look at the play-by-play, right? You can't just take it in one little snippet. But one of the biggest things is that the Gators hadn't even crossed midfield. They had an interception early on that UCF capitalized on. Then you had multiple 4th and 5s. They weren't able to convert. A poor punt, which led to positive field position for UCF. And so ultimately, you're not going to be able to win games if you can't cross the midline. And this is very uncharacteristic of this team.
No doubt. UF not crossing midfield there in the first half. And this is the best offensive team in the tournament thus far, as after a first down incompletion, Riley McDade showing off the arm and tosses a bullet out to the far sideline and handled by number 7, Layla Cornett, for a Knights first down. And again, I'll emphasize Florida, the #1 scoring offense. This truly is a matchup of an unstoppable force against an immovable object. It's one of those things where you've got the #1 defense, the top-ranked offense. Something's got to give, and thus far, it's been the Florida Gators giving some ground here.
It has been, and you see what this double quarterback kind of threat does. The center could toss it to either quarterback, and that makes it challenging, and both of them have really strong arms. They are cutting through this wind, and they're decisive.
That time it was Kayla Ludwig, her turn to play some pitch and catch. She finds Emma Clark on the far side of the field. As you take a look right there, Brandon Baruti. That's not a player. That's the head coach, Brandon Baruti, rocking the pink cleats on the sideline. I talked to him before the game. He met his wife, Danica, playing flag football. They have an 11-month-old daughter at home. He is wearing those cleats in honor of her. It's right there, a ball thrown up for grabs and intercepted by Taylor Brockman. And there's a big play for the Gators to get the second half started. The Knights up 13, looking for a big play, but Taylor Brockman turns them away.
Taylor Brockman tracked that the entire way in. They were looking for Lindsey Ward, who's been one of the deepest, fastest threats on this UCF team. And you saw, even at the point of contention, Lindsey Ward recognized she was trying to strip that ball away and play DB in that moment. And the hand strength was unbelievable of Brockman.
Let's see if that can jumpstart a Gators offense that was stagnant in the first half. And right away, Mika Rowe comes out firing, whips it to number 10, Kenzie James, along the near sideline for a nice gain. That'll bring up second down.
This is what I am excited to see, right? Mika Rowe can't put all the weight of the success on her shoulders, right, for this team. You've got to start divvying the ball out.
Second down, 7 to go. 40-yard line, the line to gain. And there's a little hook and ladder and multiple penalty flags flying in. Interested to see what this will be as Abby Elwell advances the football across midfield. If it stands, would be the first time today. But what will the call be?
Holding 5. Yep. Okay, we're gonna hold.
So it looks like it's going to be a holding call.
Holding on the defense. 5 yards added on to the end of the run. Penalty results in a first down.
Well, Phoebe, you called it.
And it's really challenging, right? Because holding can be subjective, but ultimately you're going to reach for the flag. If you feel like you've grabbed a shirt or the shorts, you've got to let go immediately and then regather your grip. It's really hard in the moment.
So first down, the Gators in plus territory for the first time today. And right away, Mika Rowe guides that football into Kate Keith on a crossing route.
I like what I'm seeing so far in this first drive. We're getting a lot of these receivers on the run, something we hadn't seen as much. So you're getting those kind of crossing routes, the 5-and-ins, the 5-and-outs. You're getting that movement, and it also opens up the opportunity for laterals.
And again, Kate Keith, 11 catches in the semifinal win over Georgia. Getting started early here in the second half. There's a throwback to Elwell. Elwell to Vijay Aragavan, who takes it inside the 20-yard line for a Gators first down.
Really nice positioning as well. And again, stopping before the line, even though she ended up reaching the ball out and gain that possession. But this defense, this is the first that we've seen them on their heels, actually being forced to play every inch. They're stretching them horizontally.
So a big play for the marching for the first time this afternoon. Trailing nothing. There's Elwell back to Vijay, who tries to slip the defender. Nice gain on first down and moves the Gators that much closer to the goal line.
Yeah, just getting her eyes stuck in the backfield a little too long there. She needs to be able to feel Aragavan moving out because she's becoming our tournament one of the toppers. And you end late to the party. So you're not just having an effect on, you're just letting them ultimately catch and then pulling the flag.
Second down and goal from the 10. Hard step from Rowe. She turns and goes back the other way to Vijay Aragavan, who falls at the end of the play.
Interesting little screen that they're trying to set up. Essentially, you keep 3 blockers in and almost that 1,000, 2,000 now release. Sniffed out a little bit there from UCF, but this is third down. This is incredible. Gators have got to capitalize.
6:52 low and rolling here in the third quarter. The first half was all UCF, but for the first time, the Gators have some momentum. Can they capitalize? Snap back to Rowe. Rowe eludes pressure, turns it upfield, twists the hips, slicing through a pair of defenders. The flag was pulled about 2 or 3 yards shy of the goal line, and that'll bring up fourth down and one shot at the end zone for Florida.
Similar to how this Gators team are working their quarterback scenarios, right? You've got that kind of seesaw ultimately of one blocking quarterback. UCF are matching that a little bit with having 2 rushers up on the line of scrimmage. And depending on what quarterback does what, you're seeing one is rushing and the other one then drops back into coverage. It's a nice little play design ultimately by both teams.
Here's Rowe buying time. Back corner has a man. Touchdown Gators. The top team in the tournament in fourth down conversions converts the biggest one of the day. Mika Rowe showing poise in the backfield and cuts into the Knights' lead, makes it 13-6.
Ava Godfrey was on her own in the back of the end zone, but Mika Rowe makes an incredible play. You see the patience. She doesn't jump around and let her know. She knows that her quarterback has that ability to settle back there and find her.
Here's the conversion. Rowe drifting left. Tight spiral, back of the end zone, finds Godfrey again. And finally, the Gators are on the board, 13-7. It's a 6-point advantage. And the Gators offense, the #1 offense in this tournament, has awakened here in the second half. 5:55 to play, and the Knights get the ball back on the other side here on ESPNU.
Have you ever wondered if there was a place where access to excellence isn't guarded by ivy, but open to all who strive for greatness? Where education leads to more than a degree, it opens the door to a career and a better life. Where imagination ignites invention and innovation, and the boundaries between science and creativity converge. That place is here, the University of Central Florida, a place for those who dare to invent the future.
Greatness lives in these halls,
Dedication to academic excellence.
in the midst of palm and pine. Here, proud Gators laid the foundation. They set the bar we now raise. At the University of Florida, legacy isn't just something we honor. It's something we build on.
Well, the Gators find pay dirt for the first time this afternoon here in the third quarter at the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic. You saw Gustavo the Gator there coming back from break. Gustavo the Gator is Gators defenseman Taylor Brockman's, well, project, let's say. Taylor's grandmother, Sylvia Leary, bought the inflatable alligator to scare the geese away out of her yard in Florida because they were pooping in her backyard. Okay? This is directly from Taylor. Turns out Gustavo's purpose in life was not to scare away birds, as they were undeterred by his presence. And Sylvia asked Taylor to take Gustavo back to the store and get a refund. Instead, Gustavo turned into something of an iconic member of the team now, making his debut as Florida's touchdown celebration Gator here in Arizona. It is quite literally his first adventure with the Gators here this weekend in Arizona.
I mean, we love an upcycle, and so I'm very excited that Gustavo made his journey out here and is just one of the top supporters of this Gators team. Unbelievable, and great throw and catch. I mean, Amber Richards coming up huge again, achieving the first down here for UCF early on. She does such a nice job just settling along the sideline like that.
So a big score for the Gators. Mika Rowe finding the freshman, Ava Godfrey, for both the touchdown and the conversion to cut the Knights' lead to 6. UCF with the football back, and on first down, Riley McDade fires it up the middle to Kayla Ludwig, who's across the 20 for a Knights first down. 5:04 left to go here in the third quarter. Still plenty of time on the clock. And look at that, Spirit the mascot. We're getting all sorts of All sorts of mascots out here on the field this afternoon.
A little mascot envy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Second down for the Knights. McDade surveying. Settles on Lindsey Ward. Ward makes the grab, pirouetting through the defense and fighting across midfield. Across the 40 into plus territory for a Knights first down. And UCF, after giving up their first score and just their 21st point of this tournament, they're right back on the march offensively.
Lindsey Ward is just such a fun player and does a great job, right? You use the ball to be able to help twist your hips in those moments. You get that momentum. I think Coach originally wanted the first down to be short. I think he probably would have appreciated this one to be short. But when you're moving and grooving like that, it's hard to stop the wheels from turning.
Direct snap to Ludwig. Ludwig throwing on the run to Emma Clark. Clark makes the grab and a gain of about 5.
And Ludwig does a wonderful job of throwing with anticipation. Clark had not even gotten to the top of her break before that ball was out. And then that immediate grab. But this is what they are so well drilled at. And this is where you see the athletes who have been playing flag, who have the comfortability with the ball and with their quarterbacks.
You saw assistant coach for Florida, Brian Ridge, there on the screen a moment ago. He's got extra responsibilities this weekend with head coach Joshua Saunders not with the team as they're on second down. McDade turns and fires near side to Ludwig, and Ludwig with a catch and run down the near sideline, picks up a few more. That'll bring up third down. But for the Gators, Kylie Gornprodum, the acting head coach this weekend. She's a friend of yours. You've known her for a long time. Joshua Saunders, the Gators' normal head coach, is with Team USA in Chula Vista this weekend out in California for training camp and trials as they pare the rosters down from 24 to 12. And so Kylie has stepped in as the head coach. And again, Brian Ridge taking on extra responsibility this weekend as Kayla Ludwig moving along out to the far side. And the flag is pulled by number 6, Nia Rampat.
Yeah, and Coach Kylie played for Coach Saunders as well in high school at one of the top high schools for flag football, Robson, in Florida. You see a lot of this, right? And now she wanted to find a way to give back. She's coaching in high school. She's coaching, of course, here at the high school level, at the college level, because she wants to continue to develop as a coach. And you love to see it. We have a few female head coaches here. Caroline Kaplinger, who is the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs as well. It's all about development and really elevating the game. And this is what's so exciting. Of course, assistant coach Bianca Lagos from the Knights as well.
Ludwig going up top into the end zone. And Maddie Culver there to go up with 2 hands and bat it away incomplete. And the Florida Gators have all the momentum right now. An opening drive score and a turnover on downs as their defensive captain, Maddie Culver, comes up big at the goal line.
Maddie Culver has such a great awareness. You're watching this quarterback, Ludwig, surveying downfield, and she puts everything behind it. But if it's the front of the end zone, this is where you're pretty much playing goalkeeper.
Can the Gators do it again? They trailed 14-0 against Georgia in the semifinal and then rattled off 27 unanswered points in the second half to win and punch their ticket into this game. And right there, Mika Rowe had to get rid of it maybe a bit earlier than she wanted to. And Abby Elwell was out in a route but had not turned her head around.
And this is where it's just getting back on the same page. But watch, Mika Rowe is such a leader. As you'll see, a lot of times she's calling the plays from the huddle. I mean, she is also one of the organizers that got the Florida Gators out to be a part of this incredible Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic.
Rowe throws back to Elwell, who throws a scud missile up the seam to number 17, Kate Keith, off the mark. And Elwell, a little bit late on the throw, tried to force it in there to no avail. It's incomplete, brings up third down.
This is a tough down and distance. You're watching Emma Clark just directing the defense, talking to them, encouraging them. And Elwell on that, I mean, she has a rocket for an arm. The way that she just slung it in there. I mean, these two quarterbacks together are such a dangerous duo.
Big third down, Mika Rowe, far sideline. That ball was catchable. It would have been tough, but Elwell can't haul it in. In fact, that was Well, that'll bring up 4th down as the clock continues to run, and it will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. And on the other side, we'll see if Florida elects to punt the football away. 3 quarters in the books and 12 minutes coming up to decide a champion here at the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley here on ESPNU.
Now testing Oakley Hypergrip technology. Fit system initializing. Launch gravity study. Fit system ready. Rotation scenario. Oakley Hypergrip technology. Next level unleashed.
Beyond game day, you'll find the Fiesta Sports Foundation working year-round to improve Arizona communities in education, in youth programs, in sports. With more than 1 million Arizonans supported in 2024 and over 32 million in charitable donations since 2011. With your help, we'll go above and beyond in everything we do. Fiesta Sports Foundation, our season never ends.
The Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley. The weekend has been spectacular here in Tempe, Arizona. We only have 12 minutes left to decide a champion. 13-7, the UCF Knights have a 6-point lead over the Florida Gators as we start the 4th quarter of action. Kyle Bailey, Phoebe Schechter with you. And the Florida Gators, it appears, will punt the football back to the UCF Knights. The Gators failed to score in the opening half, as was the case in the semifinals. They came out in the second half, and on their first possession, scored their first touchdown of the day as the punt there is dropped by number 4, Delaney Knowles. So that's where the Knights will start. But the Gators scored on their opening drive, made a big play at the goal line to force a turnover on downs, got the football back, but couldn't capitalize, Phoebe.
No, they couldn't capitalize, but it was great to see this punt having a lot more air underneath it. They had a bit of a miscue earlier where the punt gave great field position to Florida, and now you're forcing this University of Central Florida to march the entire length of the field.
So Riley McDade back in the gun. Ludwig back to block for. It's a throwback to Ludwig. Ludwig has options. Over the top, middle of the field to Richards. Richards makes the catch, and she's tracked down by Ava Godfrey, but it's a Knights first down.
When you have this double quarterback, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense because the defense are still trying to play that zone defense and settle and keep their eyes on the quarterback. She can run, she can pass, but it ends up leaving these really big gaps that ultimately the Knights are doing a great job of capitalizing on.
Nia Rampat, Maddie Culver at the line of scrimmage, showing pressure for the Gators. It's a direct snap to Ludwig, flips it out to Clark. Clark stopped by Kate Keith after a gain of about 4 yards.
Nice play design. You had the play before where you end up throwing to the middle of the zone. Now you take a nice little short chunk here because it was first down. You go into second down. You feel good about where you're marching the ball so far. I mean, it feels like this UCF team have a really good rhythm going.
Well, they're a well-run, well-oiled operation. As we've talked about a couple of times, Brandon Baruti, their head coach, has been at this for 13 years. I'm sure he'd tell you that there's always room for improvement, but he has it down to a science as head coaches go. There's Riley McDade. Throw back to Ludwig. Give and go back to McDade. McDade tries to slice through a pair of Gators defenders, but who else? Maddie Culver there to pull the flag and make the stop shy of midfield.
Maddie Culver. I mean, she is like a bulldog out there, and you love to see it, right? She is attacking, and she has great closing speed. You watch the way that she kind of closes the distance, but she has so much confidence and accuracy. I know we've talked about her being the quarterback of this defense, but she truly lives and breathes it on and off the field.
Careful now, Gators don't like being called bulldogs. Direct snap to Ludwig. Ludwig again flipping it out to Clark in the flat. And it's a smooth pitch and catch for a Knights first down. They've run that play a handful of times today, mostly to success.
Yeah, and it just gives you a nice chunk, right? You feel confident in it. When you're in those moments, and Coach said it earlier, he's not afraid to go back to the same play.
We gotta
Hey,
get
flip
stops.
it.
There's Kylie Gorn-Prodham, acting head coach this weekend. Josh Saunders again at Chula Vista with Team USA, but he has certainly imparted more than enough wisdom on Kylie Gorn-Prodham, who has led this team effectively all throughout the weekend. She has them in the title game, though they trail by 6. Here come the Knights again. McDade out to Ludwig, and once again, just methodically moving the football down the field.
Yeah, just giving a defender to read and a little swing pass out to Ludwig. It's really a great play design because ultimately, as a defense, you don't know, do I drive up on the quarterback because you also know that she is so evasive? Do I settle back and let her run into our zones? Neither of these teams want to allow those explosive plays downfield, and they're doing a really good job of keeping everything in front, but what it means is that you end up having to all converge on the ball and pursue.
Great situation here for the Knights. Second down, line of gain to 20, and it's another dump off from McDade to Ludwig, and Ludwig can't get away from Maddie Culver.
I have to say on that play, Amber Richards thought she was blocking, is running and checking her play sheet as she's running, thinking, I've done something wrong here.
Well, this Knights team certainly can, if anybody can pull that stuff off, it's the UCF Knights, as we've seen throughout the weekend. McDade in the gun, looking at Ludwig. Instead goes up the seam to Julie Sanchez. Sanchez tries a bit of a duck walk there at the end to get away from the defender. Stopped shy of midfield.
Really nice job reaching that ball out, still ending up short. So this is a big 4th down stop for this Gator defense. You're gonna watch here. The ball is just thrown high inside, goes up and gets it. Maybe if the ball is put on Sanchez, she'd have the ability to make a little bit of a move, but just that millisecond just challenges her.
Little muddle huddle right there. 4 wide receivers breaking out into formation. And all that eye candy results in another dump off up the middle to Kayla Ludwig, and Ludwig gets the ball to the 20-yard line, but penalty flags flying in.
Yeah, offensive pass interference here, which is on number 20, ultimately, Julia Sanchez.
And we'll check the replay here.
Pass interference on the offense, number 20. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay.
Let's see what the eye in the sky can tell us about this one. Well, not much of a view of Sanchez there, but based on what I saw there and during live action, I believe she might have pushed off trying to get open.
That moment in the game.
I agree with you there, and this is a very tough position to be at. I mean, 4th and long, ultimately.
Well, this certainly changes the calculus as the Knights will punt the football back to the Gators. And an unforced error by a Knights team that has played the least penalized football of the weekend, and they picked a tough time to do it. Still leading, but only with a 6-point advantage with 6.5 left to play here at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, the campus of Arizona State. It's an all-sunshine state championship bout. There's Brandon Baruti talking with Julia Sanchez coming off the field after that penalty that killed the drive, trying to understand what happened there, getting an explanation from the near side official, but it ultimately results in Florida getting the football back. So Mika Rowe and company down by 6, now inside of 6 minutes to play. Elwell sets as a blocker. Rowe from the gun, fires far side, catch made out near the 20-yard line. for a gain of about 4 yards.
This team is just so good at identifying where the sticks are, getting it short. I think there's some elements that UCF probably could take from what the Gators are doing from a short line, short down and distance element, because if I'm the Gators right now, I could use all the time in the world to march my way down there.
Kenzie James with a reception on first down. Mika Rowe directing traffic as she sprints toward the 20-yard line, somehow keeps her feet in bounds and picks up about an extra 10 yards on the run. Mika Rowe's instinct, speed, and athleticism once again on display right there.
I just want you to watch this because the whole time she's threatening that she's going to throw the ball downfield, and look at that sideline tiptoe. I mean, what a beautiful move there from Mika Rowe.
Walking the wire down the far sideline. It's first down and 10 for the Gators. Elwell to Rowe, and it doesn't pick up much. Rowe's got great speed, but both Samantha Deegan and number 12, Natalia Mateo, there to make the stop for UCF.
Yeah, beautiful diving tackle there from Natalia Mateo. And it's fascinating. I mean, you're looking at these two rosters. I mean, UCF have an incredibly large roster in comparison to the Gators. And these athletes have been playing so many games in this beautiful but very kind of incredibly hot Arizona heat.
And there's a completion to Taylor Brockman, who goes up and gets it, high points the football. And a big gain on second down will bring up third down, about 4 yards shy from midfield. We're inside of 4 minutes to play, so time is becoming a real factor in this game now. Gators down 6. Looking for the equalizer and potentially the go-ahead on a conversion. Look at that underhand scoop pitch to Elwell, and Elwell battles her way out across midfield for a Gators first down.
When you're watching this play, I mean, so you get quarterback Mika Rowe doing a really nice job. Just a little underhand, one-hander and a reach makes one person miss. That's after following a couple hitch routes, some confidence-building routes.
Elwell knifing through the defense to give the Gators a fresh set of downs. There's a throwback to Elwell. Pump fakes. Clark in her face. It's picked off! And Elwell, who was feeling the heat from Emma Clark, an ill-advised throw, intercepted, and a massive, potentially game-changing play by the Knights defense, and it was number 2, Eliana Higby-Long. Right place, right time, sure-handed, and possibly the biggest play of the day for the UCF Knights.
What a play. But it didn't even look like Elwell was looking to throw that way. I mean, her body was parallel to the sideline. It didn't even look like she was opening up or stepping into that throw whatsoever, and the Knights capitalized in that moment.
Clock's rolling, 2:13 left to play. The Knights have it back, and they are in no hurry with a 6-point lead. Shotgun snap. Direct back to Ludwig. Ludwig with a full head of steam, racing down the far sideline. Like a vapor trail into the end zone. And the Knights extend the lead to a dozen. Back-to-back massive plays. And it could clinch a title for the team from Orlando.
Ludwig is phenomenal, and it almost looked like the Gators thought that she was going to slow down there, and it looked like they stopped their pursuit. So when you're here, she looks like she's trying to throw it, then she locks up and puts on that extra gear, hips go forwards, but the defense had already anticipated her slowing down. My goodness, way to capitalize in a huge moment.
Kayla Ludwig hitting a 6th gear right there, outrunning the Gators defense, and this time Ludwig throwing the football, going up top, trying to give Emma Clark a chance to make a play, but it's batted away, incomplete. And we've got a brand new score, 19-7, and in the blink of an eye, this game changed dramatically. 1:56 left to play, the Knights up a dozen. Still action on the other side. It's the Fiesta Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley here on ESPNU.
Have you ever wondered if there was a place where access to excellence isn't guarded by ivy, but open to all who strive for greatness? Where education leads to more than a degree, it opens a door to a career and a better life. Where imagination ignites invention and innovation, and the boundaries between science and creativity converge. That place is here, the University of Central Florida, a place for those who dare to invent the future.
Greatness lives in these halls,
Dedication to academic excellence.
in the midst of palm and pine. Here, proud Gators laid the foundation. They set the bar we now raise. At the University of Florida, legacy isn't just something we honor. It's something we build on.
(19-7), UCF on top here in the waning moments of the championship game at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium at Tempe, Arizona, the campus of Arizona State. And right there you see it. It was a tight game until UCF forced a turnover, and on the ensuing play, Kayla Ludwig just outrunning the Gator defense to the end zone, and a dagger of a touchdown potentially, although a 12-point game with 1:56 left to go. Still plenty of time for the Gators if they can make some big plays here offensively to possibly get back into it. But that won't help as Mika Rowe is sacked on first down. And Phoebe Schechter, Mika Rowe has had a heck of a weekend here in Tempe, but things are getting tight out there right now.
Yeah, and Ace Parrott, what an unbelievable job she has done. To actually chase down Mika Rowe is no easy feat through two blockers, and then to constantly change direction, break down, be explosive. I mean, this is a battle between the rusher and the quarterback that she's making look easy.
Found Kenzie James that time along the far sideline.
Hey,
So after the sack, a completion, a gain of a few yards brings up third down. The clock stops after a timeout with 1:28 left to play. We'll have the trophy presentation following the clock hitting 000 here in Tempe. We'll also talk about the all-tournament team. If you haven't been following along this weekend, it's been just a whale of a time, with both Florida and UCF, of course, being here with us, but also the host team, Arizona State Sun Devils, the University of Georgia Bulldogs, the Alabama State University Hornets, the Grand Canyon University Antelopes, the Charlotte 49ers, and the Southern Cal Trojans, rounding out the field of 8 as Mika Rowe out to Ava Godfrey on the far sideline, out past the 20-yard line for a Gators first down, and Godfrey runs out of bounds to stop the clock.
Just a really smart play, right? You're going to look down the field now. I mean, a minute and 21 seconds. You could let some of that clock run. You don't want to let UCF back on the ball.
Here's first down. Rowe going up top, has a man. And that ball, if it was caught, very well could have resulted in 6, but they can't connect, and we'll check the replay. I think the ball might have been a hair overthrown, but not by much.
It just needed a tiny bit more arc in it because Taylor Brockman had reached out to it. Great step up into the ball, and it's almost fingertips. One more rotation of the legs, and this could have been a very different story.
Well, it's still just second down with 1:10 left to go. The Gators haven't taken many deep shots in this game, but they'll have to out of necessity, as we saw right there, as Rowe buys time, sets her feet, throws back to Elwell, and Elwell can't hang on, although it's worth pointing out, number 2, there was pressure in her face right there. And I think Elwell was a bit distracted. That was number 12, Natalia Mateo, coming on strong.
Yeah, and you're seeing, again, Florida starting to get a little bit more motion. They're starting to try and find some other elements, but this clock is running right now. You've got to be smart here.
Yeah, the clock continuing to run, down a dozen. Not sure if this is Florida conceding or not, but the idea that the clock continues to run with timeouts available, it's a little bit strange.
And
we have a penalty flag down on the field.
Yeah, an illegal motion against the Gators.
So we're going to run 10 seconds off the clock, right?
You hear the officials
Quiet
conferring
the snap.
there. Sounds like we
full start on the offense. Five-yard penalty, and we'll have a 10-second runoff. What clock? We should be at 24. 24, please. 24 on the clock. That's with the 10-second runoff, right?
But to your point, they have timeouts, right? And we still have the onside rule that applies within 2 minutes. So if they were able to go down and score, they would be able to go for an onside conversion, which they would be more than capable of, and you would still be in this game. So a very odd usage of the clock, and then a couple of what we would call drive killers back to back. From the dropped pass, the sack, and then the false start here. Uncharacteristic of this Gators team.
So I'm being told that Kylie Gornprodham, head coach at Florida, did call a timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. So the clock has been reset to 24 seconds remaining, but that still doesn't fully explain why so much time was allowed to run off in between plays. Trailing by a dozen with only 24 seconds left to go. That's a bit of a Mount Everest to climb, and we'll see what Florida can pull off. A double lateral from Elwell to Godfrey out to Kenzie James, and James scoots across the 20-yard line for a Gators first down. Now just 14 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and you're going to have to be smart here because this is huge. I mean, fourth down, you're really limited in what's deep in that playbook with 14 seconds left on the clock. I mean, if any team can do it, it is the Gators. They have showcased that all weekend long.
With 14 seconds left and needing to go 60 yards, it'll have to happen quickly. Here's Rowe buying time, throws back to Elwell, and Elwell stopped immediately by Mateo. And the clock stops at 7.1 seconds as the Gators will burn a timeout. And this one is all but over, folks. Just a matter of formality at this point. The Knights lead it 19-7. Both teams entered this game 5-0. And it looks as if the Knights will remain unbeaten. What a weekend it has been for Brandon Baruti and company. And you see some of the Knights players down here on the near sideline sensing that victory is afoot and showing a little bit of celebration and jubilation down there on the sideline.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see. I mean, you could see it earlier in the drive when Kayla Ludwig was running into the end zone, hands in the air from her teammates running alongside of her on the sideline as well. This has been such a back and forth between these two teams over the years. They have so much history together. I mean, you can hear the crowd here as well. A lot of Florida fans, UCF and Gators, have traveled out here to Arizona to support in the first ever Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic.
And UCF lost to Florida in the club national championships earlier this year. And they avenged that loss here in the desert as Riley McDade takes a knee and the celebrations begin. And a Gatorade bath for head coach Brandon Baruti, who was a national champion himself back in the day as a player at UCF. And now he's a Fiesta Bowl champion as head coach of the UCF Knights. Final score, 19-7. UCF are champions. And the Florida Gators are the runner-ups in the very first Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley. It's been an absolutely incredible weekend, Phoebe Schechter. You and I got here a couple of days ago. We wondered what an 8-team field and an inaugural D1 Women's Collegiate Tournament might look like. Now we know. What'd you think?
Oh, we absolutely know. And every single team, athlete, coach, admin, they were challenged early on the first night by the chair of the Fiesta Bowl to showcase, to show up and show out. And we've seen that across the board. And it's been unbelievable to see what the standard is, to see what the future is, and the ceiling is so high for Division I women's college flag football.
So many of these young women started playing against one another many years ago, locally in Florida, as we have a pair of Florida teams, obviously here in the championship game, but also at higher levels, various tournaments, maybe in Team USA, junior national team type of action. But we've seen them rise up the ranks from 14, 15 years old all the way up to being collegiate players. And, as that progression happens, you see the margins for error get slimmer and slimmer. And that was evident out there today in this game. Not much was easy for either one of these two teams, but ultimately the Central Florida Knights prevail by a final score of 19-7. And you see them down there on the field. They're putting on championship T-shirts as the stage is being rolled out for the trophy presentation. It's been a whale of a weekend here in Tempe, Arizona. Tip of the cap to Scott Lehman and all the folks here with the Fiesta Bowl, all the Yellow Jackets, all the volunteers that, helped to make this weekend as special as possible. Something that they set out to achieve this weekend was to make sure that the young women in this event felt like and were treated like, just like the college football players who arrived here for the Fiesta Bowl earlier this year. And that is evident on the faces and in the testimonials of these young women. 19-7, the Knights top the Gators. And when we return, the trophy presentation here at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium. It's the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley on ESPNU.
Beyond game day, you'll find the Fiesta Sports Foundation working year-round to improve Arizona communities in education, in youth programs, in sports. With more than 1 million Arizonans supported in 2024 and over 32 million in charitable donations since 2011. With your help, we'll go above and beyond in everything we do. Fiesta Sports Foundation, our season never ends.
Now testing Oakley Hypergrip technology. Fit system initializing. Launch gravity study. Fit system ready. Rotation scenario. Oakley Hypergrip technology. Next level unleashed.
Florida Knights, UCF winning in the title game by a final score of 19-7, topping the Florida Gators here in Tempe, Arizona. The Valley of the Sun, Arizona State, was a beautiful and hospitable host this weekend for the inaugural tournament, and it was one to be proud of. We were certainly proud to be a part of it, and we appreciate you being with us here on ESPNU and streaming live on the ESPN app. We hope you enjoyed the action as women's flag football is a sport, but certainly women's collegiate flag football growing leaps and bounds, and this weekend is yet another example of that. And you hear the cheers in the background, a lot of celebrating. UCF fans in attendance, very proud of the young ladies who just achieved a tournament championship here in Tempe. And right now, we head down to the field to Phoebe Schechter for the trophy presentation.
A game today, and what unbelievable weekend this has been. This is such a special event. The first ever Fiesta Bowl Women's Flag Football Classic for Division I college football, and it lived up to the hype. Let's thank Oakley for an amazing support of flag football. And presenting the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic Trophy is going to be Foundation Board Chair Nick Smith, and from Oakley, Dylan Bohannon.
Thank you, Phoebe. Thank you.
Round of applause. Give it to him. Round of applause.
First Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Championship sponsored by Oakley. Don't shades look good on you. Don't shades look good on you. And I just want to say congratulations.
Good job. We're going to ask the coach some questions. All right, Coach, I want to talk to you a little bit here. We were talking earlier about the familiarity that you've had with the Gators, and you guys came out here and stuck to your game plan. I mean, talk to us a little bit. What happened on the field today?
First of all, the ladies put in so much time over the past few months after the Gators earned the right to win the Nurse National Championship. They're a great program, they're well coached, they work very hard, and we realized that we had to work harder because of what they were putting in. And the ladies came to play, we talked about things, we didn't do it right at first, but we adjusted and we stuck to it and we never got down on each other, and that was the one thing that we had to do to get on top and win this championship.
Absolutely. History is a word that's been used a lot this weekend. But how does it feel to make history as the first winners of the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic?
They always say you can't put it in words, but I saw the tears of joy on these women's faces, and that is what it feels like to be the first ever Fiesta Bowl Classic Flag Football Women Champions.
Let's give it up for the UCF Knights! Awesome. Yeah, you're gonna have a couple seconds and then go up there. All right. Good, okay. All right, and now for our player awards. From the UCF Knights, let's give it up, Offensive Player of the Game, Kayla Ludwig! Eight for 10 on passing, 6 catches, 3 rushes for 64 yards, and a crucial touchdown. All right, QB, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling on top of the world. Honestly, that last play, I saw one teammate go this way, one teammate go this way, and I just took off. It's amazing. Great. I love this team so much. To be here with them is an amazing experience. I love y'all.
The double QB that you both use with McDade and yourself is just unstoppable right now. How do you get such a great rhythm between the two of you?
We honestly, over the course of the season, have built so much chemistry and trust with each other. It's been an amazing journey, and that's my QB right there.
All right, so now for Defensive Player of the Game, Alana Higby Long! Not only were you an unbelievable flag puller with over 9 flag pulls throughout this game today, but you had a game-sealing interception. Talk to us about what was going through your mind in that moment.
I was thinking, don't drop this pass. I didn't catch it. But no, this is surreal. Like, I just didn't have anything going on in my head. I was going crazy.
That's great. I love to hear that. Look, the first half of this game, you guys were allowing less than 2 yards against the top scoring offense in this tournament. Talk to me about the mentality of this defense.
It is all of us. All these defensive players right in front of me, it's all of us. We play for each other. We just go out there for each other, and that is it. That is the answer to everything.
Well, we can see that. Absolutely. Give it up. So as we're kind of rounding up here, I just want to say a thank you to Oakley and all of our sponsors, the City of Tempe, Arizona State University, and our outstanding collection of Fiesta Sports Foundation volunteers. None of this would happen without you. So thank you to all 8 universities and fans for supporting the first ever Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley. Big round of applause.
What scenes here in Tempe, Arizona? Final score 19-7. The UCF Knights are the inaugural Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic champions. Here, presented by Oakley. Big thanks to Phoebe Schechter for handling business down on the field. Shout out to our crew here, to Dave Roberts, Darren DuPont, Nick Lugatoff, everyone involved in pulling off the broadcast today. We appreciate all of you tuning in, and a congratulations to everybody involved in the emerging sport of women's flag football, the highest level of competition on display this weekend here at Arizona State. It was an honor to be a part of it, and we appreciate you tuning in. I'm Kyle Bailey. Everybody have a great weekend. This has been the Fiesta Bowl Flag Football Classic presented by Oakley on ESPNU.